have three objectives. The first was to make sure they crippled the Iranian nuclear program. And as your guest rightly said, this is not going to be possible to achieve. And I dare to say, even with the US intervention, for a simple reason. The Israelis can destroy what is on the surface in Natanz. With the US help, they can destroy what is under the surface because it's not very deep. They can do that in Esfahan to destroy the yellow cake, but that's also replaceable because the Iranians have uranium mines. But they cannot do that in Fordo because what Rafael Grossi told us, that the Iranians have underground up to 800 meters facilities. And therefore, even using the B2 with the GBU bomb 57 with 15 tons, I don't think they can reach that deep. And also keeping in mind that the intelligence and the knowledge of the nuclear program and the facility to do that, moving from centrifuge IR1 to IR6 and 7, it is embedded in the Iranian mind, and they have this capability. The second objective is to destroy Iranian missiles. And we've seen the concentrated attack on Tabriz is because they have the main industry there, but they have industry of missiles all over Iran. And the demonstration was given yesterday when 6 provinces contributed in launching missiles against Israel, saying that we have actually missile program everywhere. And the last one was the Benjamin Netanyahu, what you're putting on the screen now, inviting the population to rise against the regime. So his last objective is to change the regime in Iran, not taking into consideration the nationalism is very strong. The Iranian, by nature, they contest everything, but when they are under attack, they come all together.
And what's the likelihood, given those objectives you just mentioned, how successful do you think Israel is going to be in reaching those objectives, especially based on the response we're getting so far from Iran?
Well, in my war experience in a dozen countries, I've seen only in Serbia people surrendering to air attack when the Americans bombed Serbia. We're talking about in 1990s. I don't think anyone would surrender to a dominance of the Israeli Air Force over the Iranian airspace, particularly when Iran has a lot of missiles that are raining on Tel Aviv and other parts of Israel. Therefore, as long as the Israelis are feeling the pain, which was not the case before the Iranian retaliation, when everybody in Israel was with Netanyahu, standing with him with all this victory that they have inside, today they are having another thought that the 1967 victory that Israel had actually is not going to be repeated in 2025, and the war is happening at home and not in the adversary territory only, as is the Israeli war doctrine.
And what about Israel's call, for Iranians to rise up against the regime? I mean, do you have a sense of how this Israeli attack is being seen by regular people inside of Iran?
But this is something that the Israelis and the Americans have been trying for decades, and they have managed in many times to create riots in the countries, sabotage attacks, sabotaging nuclear facilities, killing the nuclear scientists. This is not the first time. Killing officers, assassinating them, even in Baghdad. Donald Trump did that in 2020 against Qasem Soleimani in Iraq. So all this have been already tried against Iran since 1979. Jimmy Carter first sanctioned 1980, and since then, every single American president imposes further sanctions on Iran. With the last one was Donald Trump, maximum pressure, but was not Iran was not really spared by Joe Biden. Therefore, everything has been tried to dismantle the Iranian. And what the Americans are doing every time they want to dismantle this regime, they bring it together by attacking the national pride of the country. And now I don't think this is something that the Americans or the Israeli will do it. And what they are trying is showing the vulnerability of the Iranian in defending Tehran. That is the first attack was on the capital and in other places. But the Israelis are very much afraid of starting to attack the economy or the oil because the Iranians have a lot in their bank of objective to do against the Israeli oil and gas platform in the Mediterranean. So I think the balance here is very fragile for what the limitation of the Israelis can do. And we have seen the 700 objectives that they have taken out on day one, and now we have seen much less on day two. And every single day we will see less and less when the bank of objective will be consumed, and then the Israeli will return against the same targets over and over again because they will lose their bank objective because the surprise element was extremely successful on day one, but it is over. All the commanders have been replaced, and now the retaliator position of Iran indicate that the command and control is back on track, and they know what they are going to do in the next days.